The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome everyone to episode 139 of the Daily Mother Swole. Thank you for joining me on a Thursday talking about 48 hours of pain. We're talking about delayed onset muscle soreness. Reminder to those that are new to the broadcast, you can catch this live on Facebook, Periscope, and Busker, all at Swolenormous. You could also catch this later on YouTube at Swolenormous and on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. This is the Daily Swole, no space, all the gains. Delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS. You might be one of those people that gets stupid sore after workout. We're talking ridiculous sore. You might be one of those people that doesn't get that sore at all. Now, what does it mean when you get sore? What does it mean when you don't get sore? And what does it mean when you get sore strangely and creepily, like 24 or 48 hours after your workout? All of a sudden you're sore. You're like, what the hell is this shit? Like, where'd that come from? That, in particular, is our focus point. Now, 48 hours, let's talk about that 48-hour window. Generally, you want to wait about 48 hours between consecutive body parts for resistance training, especially the same body part, especially the same area of the body, like upper body. And a lot of times in general, just because 48 hours between strength training is a nice break for physiological recovery. So the body can actually repair a little bit and not be under stress all the time. Now, myself personally, usually it's 24 hours, and usually it's a different body part. I don't do legs 2 days in a row. I don't do, arms 2 days in a row. I don't do chest 2 days in a row. The body parts will change. I'm advanced in terms of my training, and someone that is also advanced can do something like chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. The body is more exposed to that. It's more appropriate. But you definitely want to give at least 48 hours between consecutive chest workouts, between consecutive back workouts. If it's like a shoulder, chest and shoulder, something that's a synergist muscle, triceps with chest, generally to allow to make sure that those muscles that you're going to train are prepared for a full training, and that those muscles that you just did train are recover enough for that next training, so you're not really beating something into the ground that's already worn down, so you don't risk more of an injury. This soreness is as a result of what we call microtrauma. Microtrauma is the standard tearing and inflammatory cyclical process of muscle getting damaged and then healing. That's normal. And sometimes it takes about a day, or it could take 12 hours. It could take 36 hours to really feel that soreness. That depends on the person. That can depend on hydration levels, on electrolyte, like mineral balances in the muscle tissue. But generally, it's just a response where the nerve endings and everything kind of comes back to after that initial stress and shock, where the body lets you know that these things, holy shit, these things are damaged. Because when you do a workout, it's not like you're tearing something acutely. You're not spraining your ankle. You're not tearing a ligament. You're not smashing your arm into, a car door where, ow, it hurts right now. Even with something like a stressful, really shocking injury, a lot of times you might have adrenaline, you might feel that numbness or not feel that pain instantaneously. The delayed onset is micro tears in the soft tissue of the muscle that your body kind of assesses as it heals and as your body just does its daily housekeeping after the workouts. This is why foam rolling, massage, stretching, before and after workout is so important, along with hydration and proper nutrition, to relay the muscle fibers to allow the body to be prepared to heal better. That way, you're not going to be as sore and as stiff. This also depends on the volume of the training, how much training you've done. The more training you do, the more exposed and the more overload and the more damage is done to your body, the more sore you're generally going to feel, until it gets to the point of macro trauma where you feel like you literally got into a car accident when you really did a lot of negative or ill effects to the muscle. Okay? So thank you for joining me again live. Remember, I am live on Busker, Periscope, and Facebook. If you're joining me on Facebook Live, or if you would like to, make sure you click live notifications in the top of the screen, wherever you do need to click, so you get notifications every time I do go live. So there's a button for live notifications. Make sure that's clicked. I just want to jump in and say that because I tend to forget the live notifications. And also, of course, make sure your settings are up for Periscope so that you get notified when I do go live on the Periscope. So, that being said, everyone is different. That delayed onset muscle soreness, also known as DOMS, I'll just call it DOMS for right now. That's the physiological effect. That's the feeling of soreness that is delayed, that you don't feel right away. You work out today. Let's say I work out today. It's Thursday. I might not start feeling sore until the end of the day on Friday or maybe even Saturday. Personally, I don't get a lot of delayed onset muscle soreness in the sense that it won't be 2 days when I feel extremely sore, in the sense that the first time I will start feeling sore the next day. I know when I work myself. Sometimes I'm really kind of sore-ish that same day if I work out earlier in the day. The next day I'll be feeling it. I might, however, have my peak of soreness. I might feel more sore 2 days later, but I won't be fine on Friday. Like I won't be fine tomorrow and then the next day wake up, oh my God, I'm stiff. I will feel it tomorrow. I feel my workouts the next day after, but I do get a little delayed onset just because it'll peak. I'll get a little bit more sore. And that's, again, the body's repairing process and protecting you from overworking the muscle when it's trying to heal damaged tissue. If your body helped you think, hey, that's fine, let's go work, it feels great, there's no pain, you're going to damage a muscle that's not healed properly and you'll get hurt and it'll tear off and you'll have more damage. My alarm went off, obviously. Not sure why that is still set. Apologies. That might have scared the crap out of Periscope. It scared me. That speaker's right next to everyone on Periscope. It's like, I'm up. So float some hearts if you're awake on Periscope, if that alarm scared the crap out of you. Everyone's different. That's the next thing I want to talk about. Everyone is different when it comes to delayed onset. Just because you don't get sore doesn't mean you didn't get a good workout. Okay? Just because you don't get sore doesn't mean you can get a good workout. Some people just don't get sore. They don't feel it as much. You might have more dull nerve endings. You might repair a lot faster. Everyone is different. It could also be you're not training hard enough. But here's the problem with training for soreness. When you train for soreness, you focus on the wrong things. You focus on volume rather than training the muscle properly. What I mean by that is it's not all about just damaging the muscle tissue. Remember, you're not growing when you're in the gym. You're causing stress, you're causing a reaction, you're causing strain. You're giving an external force, you're fucking the body up in the gym. When you're out of the gym, when you're resting, when you're eating, when you're drinking water, when you're at work, when you're sleeping, all these periods of not being in the gym is when you're gaining muscle. That's why when people ask me, oh, you must work out for 2 hours a day, you must work out every day. I probably work out less than you think I do. But when I do go, I crush it, I get it done, and I get out. The sooner you can get out and start eating and repairing and recovering, the better. You want to get in and bam, and then leave. If you're in there for 2-3 hours, first off, negative muscle, or I'll call them negative hormones, meaning like cortisol hormones that break down muscle tissue, that are releasing sugar into the bloodstream, that are, we'll call them negatives, or catabolic hormones. They break down muscle tissue. They're normal, they're natural, they're necessary, they're always there. But you want those hormones to be elevated that are rebuilding. And the more of those that you have around, the better. That's why people take extra testosterone, they take steroids, they take those types of things that convert to more testosterone, that will build muscle, that will repair faster, metabolize more fat, resynthesize protein in the muscle tissue faster. That's why people do that, because they recover faster between workouts. They recover faster. When people take anabolics, you recover faster between workouts, so you can do more workouts more frequently at a higher intensity. More workouts, more recovery. You just kind of compress like a year's worth of training in a shorter period of time. So when you're training for a year, you kind of get the same work that someone normally does in 2 years, just because you get more done because you recover faster. That's beneficial because you're doing more in a shorter period of time. Your body is working at a faster rate. Your body is healing faster. Your body is more efficient because it has more of the tools that it needs. Naturally, you don't have those extra tools. Once you learn about how the body works, your idea and your views on steroids change. You realize they're really not that bad, and why do I really care if someone else wants to just recover faster when it's personal use? If they're done properly, it's not a big deal. I personally don't care what people do, and I don't think anyone else should. I understand the moral debate whether it should be used in sports, and maybe that's an episode for tomorrow. That's another topic. I don't want to get too far off on it, but that's the benefit of those types of anabolics, of extra supplementation, is the recovery period. So it allows people for more, like Arnold used to do chest and back heavy every other day. Most normal mortals can't do that. Like my chest will be sore for 4 or 5 days, whereas he was doing heavy chest and back 3 days a week. I mean, and working out twice a day at that. Not happening in my book. Not happening in most of yours. If you're training hard, you're not spackling. You're not doing a couple push-ups and pull-ups 3 days a week. He was doing like incline bench with 415. We're talking serious weight. Being sore is not necessary for growth. Like I said, you don't have to get sore. If you didn't get sore, you didn't fail. So training for soreness oftentimes puts in the mentality, puts into your mind that more is better. And that's not always true. More is not always better. So just doing rep after rep after rep and working out training for a long period of time doesn't necessarily mean better results. Doing crazy exercises, doing all these weird angles and weird rep schemes and power and jumping, like CrossFit and shit like that. You're causing trauma to your body. Understand this. You're causing trauma. You're causing damage. You're screwing your body up. When you're not in the gym, your body repairs. Think of how your body feels. Think how my body feels. 15 years of repairing, of being like perpetually sore every day for 15 years. Recovering. That's why I push yoga so much. Because you need to repair. Repairing is growth. If you're able to find a pattern where you're able to heal your body and allow the fibers to lay properly and to reformulate properly and allow for nutrients to get in and out through the muscles and the organs around the body, and you're squeezing out the organs full of like junk and lactate, you are lengthening the tendons, lengthening the ligaments, releasing tension by doing strength, like lengthening movements in yoga and stretching, and fixing compensations. There's less tension in the joint. There's less internal tension that your body is constantly fighting. So when you have the external tension of weights, your body can perform those activities better and then recover better as a result. That's why I push yoga, because it helps your recovery and it reduces that risk of being too sore, being traumatically sore, and increases the speed of your recovery so you can do consecutive workouts with less risk. Trust me, the biggest detriment to your own training is yourself. You get hurt, you're fucked. It doesn't matter, what training program should I do? Or what should I eat here with this? None of it matters if you're hurt and you're not training, and then you're just like treading water trying to get better. Nothing sucks more than getting hurt. You lose progress. It happens. My shoulders started bothering me yesterday or today. I'm not sure what happened. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, foam rolling, massage, stretching, yoga, absolutely. Foam rolling is great. We talked about that. I have those daily swoles on foam rolling. My left shoulder bothers me a little bit. It happens. It's wear and tear. You think just because I do things correctly that there aren't mistakes, that my joints aren't just going to maybe something's not going to tweak once in a while? Yeah, I do yoga and I work out regularly, but I'm also standing at the computer for 20 hours a day, and things happen. When you lift weights all the time, and sometimes you're going to have a little pain, a little irritation. Maybe I tweak something. I don't know. I always warm it up, but things happen. You take care of your car and you drive it well every day, and sometimes you have to freaking get a tire. You get a flat tire for no reason. It's like, I ran over a nail. It's like, shit happens. You didn't see the nail on the road. You would have moved. So you're not going to avoid everything, but you're also, what am I going to do now that it bothers me? Am I going to keep on going and doing bench and going heavy? Today I'm probably going to take a day off. I feel it, I don't know what's going on. I'll probably foam roll like crazy with like a tennis ball, and it'll hurt like hell. And I'll probably come back and I'll do some more rotational movements, and I'll, probably just, I don't know. My left knee was bothering me, inflammation. I might just be taking a week off. This might be my time where I'm like, you know what? I feel great. I look good. I'm on a roll with the pumps. This might be my time. It's coming up soon where I might just take 2 or 3 weeks off or a month and just do yoga and allow my body some serious recovery, and then take all of you through the process of that. Because there's little warning signs, and I always abide by that. I am more than happy now to take a few days off and stretch and just recover, because I understand the longevity. I understand what can happen with a chronic injury, with a serious injury, and being able to have worked consistently without a major injury, knock on wood, has been one of the reasons why I've seen so much progress. Yeah, the tortoise wins the race, like the tortoise and the hare. The rabbit sprinting and, all that stuff doesn't make it, all the problems with going too fast, and the tortoise kind of like chilling, and then makes it in the long run. So the tortoise and the hare, you need consistency. You need discipline, but you need every day. You get hurt and then you're out. So that soreness is letting you know, but those little injuries and those things that are warning signs for you to take some time off, to back off, that's what you have to pay attention to, because nothing's worse than getting hurt and then you're not training and then you're really not making progress and then you're screwed. So don't wait for that time to come. Don't wait till it's too late. Do your corrective exercises, work on your rotator cuff, do your yoga, do your stretching, pay attention to the soreness. Are you getting too sore? Remember I told you before, we talked about overtraining, delayed onset muscle soreness. Son of a bitch. Delayed onset muscle soreness. I don't want to lose lives, so I'm not going to exit out of that. Delayed onset muscle soreness is one of those signs of overtraining. Not that the fact that you have delayed onset muscle soreness, but the fact that if you have it for longer than anticipated, if you are sore for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days after workout, when you're normally only sore for a day or two, that's one of the signs. The difference between training knowledge and training wisdom. Absolutely, Nick. That's a great quote, man. The difference between training knowledge and training wisdom. And what's the difference between those two? Experience. It's experience. It's doing it. And that's one of the reasons why this show is effective, and that's the reason why I call myself a fitness expert. Because there's a lot of people that read a book. There's a lot of people that lift weights. There's a lot of people that do one or the other, but they don't combine the two or the three. And there's a lot of people out there that you'll see online, on here, on Instagram, these 19-year-old or 20-year-old fitness and life coach experts, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying I'm the most successful person. I'm not saying I have the most money. What I'm telling you is, from my experiences, I know what's important in life. Of course, I have my own opinions, but there's a lot of things that I've gone through and that I've experienced that have opened my eyes to what's really necessary and what's really important and what are the facets for being, on your game no matter what. I've gone through a lot of different changes in my life, but my fitness has always been there and I've always seen progress. And every time I go into the gym, I almost feel like I'm doing less, and I almost feel like I'm eating worse and I'm training worse, but I'm looking bigger. Like, I look in the mirror in the gym and I'm like, man, what am I taking? Because I'm big, I'm pumped, I'm ripped. What is going on with me? I'm just hitting more of that flow state. It's experience. I know exactly what I have to do and how much of each thing I have to do to be a certain way. But training knowledge and training wisdom is absolutely experience. You cannot teach experience. You can talk about it, but it's like your grandfather. Thanks a lot, Nick. I really appreciate it, man. It's like, a grandparent telling you, oh, this is what it's like. You're going to regret this when you're older. And you're like, yeah, I'm young. Life is long, blah, blah. You don't know what they experience until you're there. It's perspective. You can't feel what an 85-year-old feels when you're 25. You can't even imagine. Luckily, I've trained a lot of elderly people, and I've been around a lot of older people, and I've always tried to have that perspective. I think that's one of the most important things in life, is to think like an older person. And I've heard people say, what you should do is go to an old age home and hear them talk about regret and this and talk to older people and your grandparents and have like real deep conversations and see what they talk about. Like, what's the vernacular? What are the words that they use often, over and over again? I know this is a little bit off topic, but it's important. You need to look at your life the way you think you would look at it when you're older, because that's the only way you're going to look at your life. You're going to look at it backwards. You're going to look at it from where you went, where you came from. Because every moment you're getting older, you're always looking back on your life. Like, what are you doing that's going to make you proud? What are you doing that's going to make you happy, that's going to give you satisfaction? Because that's where you're going. And if you're in a shitty job now and you don't like your job now, guess what? You're going to be older and you're going to look back and be like, wow, I had a shitty life. I didn't like my life. What the fuck was I thinking? Now I'm going to die. And that's what's going to happen. It's really that simple. And that's scary as hell. That's really scary to people. It's frightening. that people that if you don't like your life now, if you don't like your job now, if you don't like where you are right now, all of a sudden you're going to look back and be like, oh, that was great. Now I'm happy. No, you're going to look back and be like, fuck, I wasted my time. I wasted my life. I did something I didn't want to do, and now I'm almost dead, and I realized that everything I thought was important, like making a little extra money and paying that new car lease, was a waste of fucking time, because that car now is 30 years old and no one gives a shit about it. It's in the junkyard, and I'm old and I slaved away for someone else's dream at some job that I hated. You're going to wake up one day and it's going to be like, boom, what the heck was I thinking? So this went from delayed onset muscle soreness to, man, you have to change your life, but they're one and the same. Experience, wisdom, training wisdom, life wisdom. It's all about experience. So talk to people that have done it. Ask me questions, because I have done it. Yeah, I have science knowledge, and yes, I have a lot of just information, technical information, but I've also done things, and I know which things really do work and which things really don't work, and why. For me, at least. Of course, for me or for my clients. I know because some things sound good on paper, and oh, that's probably true, or oh, eating this probably does work, but then you actually eat it and you're on the toilet for 24 hours, or you just feel flat and you have low energy. So is that true just because you read it on paper? Obviously, it doesn't work for you. You don't know until you try it. Oh, that type of workout sounds great, but when you do this, that, and the other, man, for 15 years, 14 years, yeah, you end up looking like this. How do I know that? Because I did it. So there are things that you cannot teach. There are things you have to experience, and that's where that wisdom comes into play. So that was a great quote, Nick. I really appreciate that on Facebook Live. So do your yoga, do your foam rolling, do your stretching, and remember, you do not have to be sore to see results, but it's important to understand why you're sore. Be careful, take care of your body, and remember, this is the only body you have, and you're in it for the long haul. Make sure you make the appropriate adjustments so you don't get hurt, so you can stay disciplined, stay consistent day in and day out. Thank you for joining me for episode 139 of the Daily Mother Swole. Remember, you can catch me every day at 12 noon Eastern Time on Facebook Live, Periscope Live, of course, and Busker. You can also watch this on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Swolenormous. If you're not already on my YouTube channel, make sure you go to YouTube, type in Swolenormous, like, subscribe, and comment below on any video that you like. Let me know that you're there. Say what's up. Say I love this video. Ask me questions on that video on YouTube. That way I can answer it right there directly. You can also comment and like videos and follow me on SoundCloud. And you go to SoundCloud, type in Daily Swole, no space, type in Swolenormous, soundcloud.com/Swolenormous. There's an app for iOS and Android. You can also find me on iTunes. Just type in Daily Swole, no space. And also Stitcher. Those of you that have used Stitcher or like to use Stitcher, you can find me on the Daily Swole there as well. Thank you. I will see you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Time for episode 140. Peace out. Have a great rest of your Thursday.